Good afternoon and happy Thanksgiving. This is your special longer broadcast that has taken over for your normally scheduled programming. We hope you enjoy this expanded look at this week. Israel and Hamas are working towards a ceasefire agreement that would see the release of Israeli hostages in Gaza in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. The leaders of both sides have approved the deal, and it was expected to take effect on Thursday, but has been delayed until Friday, according to reports. As part of the negotiations, it was agreed that the International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC, would be allowed to visit any hostages who remain in Gaza after some are freed. However, the ICRC says it has not officially been notified of any such agreement by the parties involved. The humanitarian organization says it stands ready to visit hostages if approved and has continuously called for the release of all captives and ensured their humane treatment. In another development, the director of Gaza's largest Al-Shifa hospital, Mohammed Abu Salmiya, was reportedly detained by Israeli forces while evacuating patients, though the IDF has only stated he needs to be questioned. This has led to the Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza suspending cooperation with the World Health Organization, which had been assisting evacuations. Both sides have traded accusations over the hospital, with Israel alleging it was used by Hamas as a base while Hamas denies this. OpenAI has gone through a turbulent week with the sudden ousting of CEO Sam Altman, followed by intense negotiations to bring him back. To help resolve the situation, they are expanding their board of directors. One new addition is Larry Summers, a former U.S. Treasury Secretary and Harvard president, who is well-versed on issues related to AI and the economy. He will help recruit other board members and help shape OpenAI's governance. In addition, Sam Altman will return as CEO just 5 days after being fired. During his brief time away, Emmett Shear served as interim CEO, but only for about 3 days. Along with expanding the board, bringing back Altman seems aimed at appeasing employees who threatened to quit if he wasn't reinstated. The changes come amid a lot of uncertainty around OpenAI's leadership, but establishing a stronger board and keeping Altman in charge for now should help bring more stability, as the company works on important AI projects like ChatGPT. There was an explosion at the Rainbow Bridge border crossing between the U.S. and Canada near Niagara Falls. The bridge connects Niagara Falls, New York with Niagara Falls, Ontario. A vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed crashed through a fence at the border inspection area and caught on fire, exploding. Inside the vehicle were 2 people, a married couple, who both died in the explosion. Initial investigations have not found any evidence of terrorism being involved after initially believing the event to be potentially linked to a terrorist event, identifying passports that survived the explosion. As a precaution, security was increased at border crossings, airports, and major transportation hubs in both countries due to it being a busy travel time for Thanksgiving. Additional police and bomb sniffer dogs were deployed. The Internal Revenue Service has decided to delay lowering the threshold for payment apps like Venmo and PayPal to report sales to the IRS due to confusion and issues arising. A law passed last year called for the threshold to drop from $20,000 in sales to $600 starting this year. However, everyday people have been confused about what actually needs to be reported. Specifically, it's been hard for people to know if a payment was for a taxable good or service sale or a non-taxable personal gift to a friend or family member. There's also been trouble handling payments where someone lost money selling something. They also said next year, in 2024, the threshold will be $5,000 before dropping to the $600 level in 2025. This gives both the IRS and companies like Venmo more time to work out problems and make it clearer for people to report any taxable income correctly. Violent clashes erupted in Dublin, Ireland after a unidentified suspect went on a stabbing spree and injured multiple children and civilian adults that intervened in the chaotic event. After the stabbing, large crowds gathered and clashes broke out between protesters and riot police. Video showed protesters fighting with police and setting a police car on fire. They were chanting anti-immigrant slogans. The Irish police commissioner condemned the violent protesters, saying they were a lunatic hooligan faction driven by far-right ideology. The clashes disrupted public transportation and one major train station was shut down. While police said they are still investigating a motive, they do not believe it was an act of terrorism. The evacuation zone near the town of Grindavik in Iceland remains dangerous, as officials warn that a volcanic eruption could still occur with only a few minutes' notice. Poor weather has also been hampering monitoring systems, making detection of signs of an impending eruption even more difficult. While seismic activity appears to be decreasing near the magma dike, experts say the area is still unstable. The likelihood of an eruption directly in the Grindavik area is lowering daily, but eruptions elsewhere along the fault line are still possible. Iceland's leading seismologist believes the peninsula may now be entering a long period of volcanic instability and eruptions that could last for the next 200 to 300 years, after hundreds of years of dormancy. Residents have not been given the all-clear to return yet due to the ongoing risks. These are the stories we kept track of while we were away. Tune in tomorrow for more stories you don't want to miss on Volt News Network. See ya!